WWE 2K24 is here. We're jumping into our first season for MyGM. As we jump in, you see we can get our first GM here, and we need to decide between Adam Pearce, Sonya Deville, Stephanie McMahon, Xavier Woods, Tyler Breeze, Eric Bischoff, Mick Foley, and Ted DiBiase. We got William Regal and Paul Heyman, Theodore Long, and of course we can have our own custom superstar as well. So let's take a look here at all these guys. Theodore Long, just a minute player. He removes all match bonuses and quality boost move bonuses on other teams. So that's interesting. Paul Heyman, special counsel is his ability. All promos this week are free and have their results doubled if applicable. William Regal, power of the punch. You can select an opposing brand. All superstars on that roster lose 5 popularity at the start of the next week. That could be brutal. William Regal may be a guy to look at here. Ted DiBiase, see, he's $1 million man, so twice a season you can book all matches and they're all free to book. That's absolutely massive. And then you got Mick Foley, Cactus Jack. Select an opposing brand. 2 superstars who participated in their show next week will randomly be injured. Wow, that sounds extreme, and I think for what we're doing in season 1, it's just what we need. So next we go to our brand. And you got, of course, SmackDown, Raw, NXT, NXT 2.0, WCW, and now this year added in is ECW. So a lot of these are all exactly the same as they were last year's game, WCW, you see classically trained. But this year, I think the extreme mantra with this first season, we're going to stick with it. So we got Mick Foley. Now we're going to get ECW with extreme rules twice a season, block all opposing brands from using 3 randomly selected champions in next week's show. This cannot be used in week 25, which is, of course, I believe, WrestleMania. So here we are going to ECW. All right, and we are doing a full player set here. We have us as, of course, the controlled with Mick Foley running ECW. Then you got Paul Heyman, CPU Paul Heyman with SmackDown, CPU Adam Pearce with Raw, and CPU Eric Bischoff with WCW. So it's a 4-man landscape. Let's dive into the draft. Okay, so we're looking at our session settings. So for our first season, the base difficulty is normal. We're going to play on hard difficulty, which would make the AI a lot more challenging. The game difficulty as well on hard. As you can see, this makes moderate budget reductions in later seasons and high morale thresholds for keepers and superstars quitting. So making things a little bit more challenging, starting off with $3.5 million. Let's get to it. So here we are for season 1. So new to this year with MyGM is ring level. So you can see right here, building a roster, superstars ring level will determine how well they draw crowds and viewers. Even if you book a bad match, such as fighter versus fighter or something like that, fans will still come pouring in if a superstar has a high enough ring level. Ring level also determines how many perks a superstar has available to them. So this is massive, but let's get into it. We get to start with our first pick of the draft. Who should we select? And I do know for ECW, they do not have any women's titles in game because, of course, ECW at the time did not have any women's championships. So we need to really focus on leaning, having a huge men's roster. We will have some women in the roster, of course, for show balance and just for star power and all, but for our championships, we got to focus on the men's side. And honestly, I can't think of anybody really bigger and better. Seth Rollins I was thinking about, but for ECW, I think the face of the brand to start has to be KO. We're going to go with Kevin Owens. So you see the rest of the first round there. Finn Balor to SmackDown, Seth Rollins to Ross, AJ Styles to WCW. So with our second pick, we need a heel. I think a big heel we need to look at and focus on. So let's see if we can find somebody to really be a good synergy early on with KO. And you may hate him, you may love him, but we're going to go with it. It's Logan Paul, 15 star power. He's at $269,000. He's a heel fighter. I think it's just, it's a little bit cheaper than Shinsuke, who was my secondary pick. So we're going to go with the megastar that is Logan Paul. So you can see on the left, the second round picks there, the heavy side of the women's division going. So, that's an area we're going to be playing catch up with. Now we got 2 main roster guys. Again, we will have a women's division, but it's going to be a lot cheaper on the side of cost. We're going to stack up this men's division as much as we can. So we got a bruiser, we got a fighter. What to do next? All right, so we're going to start this one. We're going to go Bobby Lashley, another ECW legend. He's a bruiser, a heel bruiser. So that'd give us 2 heel bruiser, or a heel and a face bruiser, which could work out for us. We need to find a opposite fighter now. All right, we're going to start to work things down into a little bit cheaper. We spent some hefty money early on. We need to go load up the men's roster and also the women's side of things. We need to go get some cheaper individuals to load out the rest of this roster we got. And straight out the gate here, a little less star power, but you know what? At 175, I'm willing to take a risk on Dexter Lumis. He is a face fighter, which will mesh well with what we need for Bobby Lashley. We're going to go with it. And I still see this. I mean, you got Gunther still on the board. The stamina is down at 66, which is kind of something that I may deter from because I want that stamina to be up a little bit higher. I know with Logan Paul and KO, we took it down in the 60s, but they're big stars at 15 star power each. So we're going to try to find somebody, I think, with a really high stamina. And also I may try to find somebody that can mesh with as a giant or a cruiser, maybe even a specialist here. And fits the bill here. It's Cedric Alexander, 90 stamina, popularity at 54 with a 10 star power. Base cruiser, bring him on. And we're also going to tag up with him. We're going to get Carmelo Hayes. Now we're looking at this here as a tag team, most likely. So Cedric Alexander, Carmelo Hayes is going to be awesome. And since we did that, now we really got to focus in here on some heel. Not many around. We got Veer Mahan and we got Gunther. So we're going to go ahead and grab Gunther. And then we'll get Veer Mahan if he's still around. And there's Veer. We'll grab him as well to even it out. All right, so now we're going to tab over to the specialist tab. They work with anybody. So this is where we want to focus on seeing if there's anybody with decent star power. There's really nobody left. So we're going to actually move back over to the bruisers and the fighters. And we still got, you know, $1.6 million left to our name. We have 8 superstars in total. I'm feeling pretty confident here with the roster so far to start. You know, not a lot of men's division left here to choose from, unfortunately. But we do see you got Shinsuke and MVP right here, both 10 star power. MVP, I'm going to give the edge though with 86 stamina. And that would be a heel fighter. So, you know, let me look at our fighters here. We got a face fighter. We got a heel fighter. No, we don't. Sorry. We've got, what do we have for our fighters here? So for our fighters, we have a face, a heel. Okay. So I'm gonna give MVP the go. Another heel fighter. And now we're gonna go to get a face bruiser here. So you see what's available. I'm thinking right now, gosh man, Brutus Creed, I think will just work really well. Let's get Brutus Creed here. Bring him on. It's not the best with its star power at 5, but we can get over that. Okay, y'all. So we're into round 11, and we still have no women superstars on the roster. We're going to finish off the draft with a few from the women's side to round it out. Still got some big stars on the board as well. You got Bianca Belair. You got Charlotte Flair, who they consider a giant class, which I think is completely off base there, but whatever. You got Alexa Charlotte could be a really interesting one. That's a lot of money to be spent, so I don't know if I'm willing to spend that much. Let's go ahead and grab a little bit cheaper down here, Gigi Dolan. Look at that, 89 stamina, specialist. She can work with anybody. It's tempting, but we're gonna go ahead and grab Alexa Bliss, and to couple with her across is going to be a huge star. We are going to bring on the Queen, Charlotte Flair. All right, so now we're good. Definitely $587,000 remaining. I'm going to go down the barrel here, and we're going to get some affordable superstars. Got a lot of, I mean, right here, I'm going to go Cora Jade and then Fallon Henley. I think it's going to be the way we're going to go here. That's going to work out just fine. So let's go Fallon first. But there you see the Raw draft complete, led by, of course, Seth Rollins, Becky Lynch, the man, husband-wife duo on Raw. And here we are, our last pick. We're gonna go Cora Jade. So there you see our roster. The main stars we have for Mick Foley's ECW, led by Logan Paul. KO. I think that's a really good mix right here. It's gonna be a lot of fun. SmackDown, there you see Paul Heyman's crew, led by Finn Balor, and fellow Judgment Day member Rhea Ripley. And WCW Bischoff's crew, he's got Ronda Rousey, no longer in WWE, and AJ Styles. So there you see the rosters. Comment down right now below. Let me know which of these rosters you think is the strongest heading into season 1, week 1. Raw taking 2 less superstars overall. Comment below right now. Let me know which roster you would pick for your first season. And the whole goal of it all is to be into the WWE Hall of Fame. To enter, we must be the first GM in this season in all the seasons to have 10 Hall of Fame trophies at the end of a season. Ties are broken by the most fans, then the most cash. Trophies are awarded through the career by getting achievements and seasonal challenges. So our goal is to take ECW with Mick Foley to the top and to be the WWE Hall of Fame GM. Get ready for our first show. We're heading to Nashville. Triple H has got some things to say for his fellow man there, Mick Foley. He's checking in. As I said, we're going to go for it. We're born for this, Trips. Eric Bischoff giving us some words here, asking how things are going. He's giving us some good words. Obviously, with the likes of Ronda on our books, we think we're going to give ECW more than a run for its money. I guess we're going to find out. Yeah, I guess we will. Paul Heyman, what do you got? Said he's got some things. I have the roster and show abilities to do it. I don't think ECW stands a chance. You really think you can contend with us? We have superstars like Finn Balor, Get Real. So the trash talk is here. Of course, the women's division belts are unavailable for ECW, as I mentioned earlier. So now's the big time. Who are going to be our inaugural champs as we begin season 1? We are going to start things out with our ECW World Heavyweight Champion. And ladies and gentlemen, I told you the face of this to get going, in my opinion, has got to be KO. I'm rolling with KO to get things started. ECW Men's Champion. This is the secondary title they have here, like the World Heavyweight Championship. We're gonna throw that on Bobby Lashley, and then the tag team champions for ECW, we are going to put on Gunther and his partner, Veer Mahan. So you got a good mix here. KO, Veer Mahan, and Gunther, and of course Bobby Lashley to kick things off as our ECW champs. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to conclude things here as we get our MyGM Season 1 for ECW started. Next episode, we'll be going to the countdown to Hell in a Cell. We'll go through our first 4 shows and first premium live event of Hell in a Cell. Can we take the early lead against our stiff competition? We'll see if we can take it to the top.